Click on the subscribe button, especially the bell on the right side. Otherwise, you will miss the latest videos.
क्या अक्षित कपूर जी को नेक्स्ट बुला लीजिए।
जी सर, आई एम हियर ओनली। Vinay ji, kindly make me the admin. I'll share my PPT as well.
Yes, you have permission to share the PPT. You can share it.
मैं वो कुछ कंट्रोल चाहिए कि वो अपन मिला सका।
Sorry.
हाँ पापा लेकिन मिला सका बिना।
I will request to everyone, please be on mute if you are not speaking anything.
Shall I share?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. I am Akshit Kapoor. I'm a Swara yogi, a numerologist, and astrologer as well. So today, the topic for today is introduction to Swara Shastra. So talking about Swara, I also understand that many people think what is Swara Shastra. It means something related to sound or musical note. It also means the continuous flow of air through one nostril. So just I'll try to explain you one thing. Whenever we breathe in and out, everybody knows we breathe. That is one continuous process in our life. Any person can stay without food, without water, and we have always seen people go on unshan. Delhi is very well known for that, Jantar Mantar especially. So people go on fastings and everything of that. So Jain Dharam practices a lot. And a person can stay without food and without water for days, but without breathing exercise or without breath, nobody can even sustain for next 3 minutes also. So what is Swara Shastra? I'll just give you a very small brief, continuing with my PPT. So Lord Shivji and Devi Parvati, when Shivji married Devi Parvati, so when Devi Parvati was at the next step to learn about the Srishti and about the Tantra. So Swar was the first thing in which Lord Shiva taught her. So when we talk about Swar, and apparently I'm sure many people who do astrology and have been Vinayji's, what do you call this, student of Prashan Kundli and Sunil sir as well. So there is one of the topics out there which is known as Ida and Pingala. It is a very common topic which comes out, and especially people who practice yoga, it's a very common thing for them. So that is about Swara Shastra. Our left side of the body, the left nostril is known as the Ida or the Chandra Nadi, and the right side of the body is known as Pingala or the lunar Swar or the solar Swar. So this is what about Swara Shastra. We will be talking about how Swara Shastra benefits us, how can we take the benefit out of Swara Shastra, and how can we utilize it in our daily needs and everything. Today's PPT is just about the introduction about the Swar. So I'll just start off with my words again. The word Swar in Sanskrit means sound or musical note. It also means the continuous flow of air through one nostril. Here we are talking about something more than air which flows from the nostril. We are also talking about the flow of pran, a very subtle and vital aspect of breath. A very common thing comes up, and it has always been said that God, in Sanatan Dharam especially, it is said that God has given us the breath. He has counted the breath and He has given us. The days and everything is just another sorted thing. Whenever we finish our breath, we are ready to depart from this body. So Swar Yoga and the breathing, about the breathing side, that is majorly in the Swara Shastra. And we all know the Yoga means union. So Swar Yoga is the science which is about the realization of cosmic consciousness through the awareness or observation. Then control or manipulation of the Swar is breath in the nostrils. In fact, breathing is the process which is generally ignored and is the most important function of the body. We are breathing continuously 24 hours a day, whether one is aware about it or not. We have seen people for going in unshan without water or food, but no one can live without breathing for next 3 minutes also. Swar Yoga is an ancient science existing since before Vedic period, over 10,000 years ago. It was a great science only available for a selected few, especially kings and dedicated sadhak. It was kept as close secrets by the ancient sages and saints who are intuitively received this knowledge from the divine. And I'm sure people who um, we everybody plans to go to an astrologer or something of that sort. So you must have seen any astrologer or any pandit or any yogi or any sadhak answering your question within seconds, and just by taking a 5-10 seconds break, and then they would be answering for a very simple reason, because they practice Swar Yoga. What is Swar Yoga? I'll tell you in a brief. The breathing pattern from our left or the right, and with the tattvas, the 5 elements which we know as in, what are the 5 elements? Air, water, earth, fire, and space. How they are inside, how when we breathe, the pattern of those tattvas within our breath from Ida or Pingala or Sushumna, that is majorly in the Swara Shastra for making any predictions. I'll just give you for a very small example again. So I'm sure everybody out here are always like, okay, whenever we step out of our house, so we have to keep the right or the left, whichever swar is active, and whichever nostril is active, I'm sorry, and swar is active. So we have to keep that step outside our house. So that is the major point of Swar Yoga itself. That is just a one small technique which we, in general, we utilize in our home. Now, people out here who practice Vastu, so there is one special yoga which is said that everything should be done clockwise. So if I explain that topic, that would be a very lengthy topic as of now. But that clockwise scenario is also the aspect of Swar Yoga or Swara Shastra only. This ancient divine knowledge was available only for sadhaks, those who had risen above the worldly and mundane affairs of life, those who had a spiritual attitude and dedication and devotion of a disciple. So that this precious knowledge was kept pure and it didn't go out in the wrong hands. It was used for those who had mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual problems, so that they could get rid out of the problems by using the divine knowledge of Swar Yoga. Also, it was useful for the grahast, the householder. The grahast is somebody, people like us, who are into their daily lives old. In day-to-day matters, it was commonly used for general future predictions as well as special cases such as making wars, going according to wishes of the king, or having divine child. It was used to choose any auspicious time, start special jobs, journey, wars, building, etc. for creating harmony, worldly affairs, predicting the time of death, and deal with planetary effects, astral forces, negative effects of the zodiac and constellations. See, basically, just giving a pause of the PPT, हम लोग जब भी स्वर, I'm sorry, whenever we talk about Swar Yoga in totality, we, in the grahast or the people like us who are in their daily lifestyles, it was a very mandate thing, especially to keep it as a very small and easy out. Okay, whatever the breath is active, see, well, let it be Ida or let it be Pingala or let it be Sushumna. The Sushumna is whenever the both of the nostrils are active. That is just for a very minimum 2-3 minutes every time, after every hour. So you have to deal with those things. You have to do those things according to the swar. In Swar Yoga, especially, as we were taught with our gurus, it is always said there is a Swar Panchang in itself, which helps us to plan the days and your events and your thought processes in day-to-day life and day-to-day processes. Just for an example, I'll tell you, I'm sure everybody knows what is Shukla Paksh and Krishna Paksh. Shukla Paksh ends with the Purnima Tithi and Krishna Paksh ends with the Amavasya Tithi. So our Tithis were also divided in the scenario of Ida and Pingala of the Swar Yoga. Swar Yoga, an ancient tantric science which involves the systematic study of breath flow through nostrils or swar in relation with the prevailing phases of the moon, time of day, and direction. Although we think the pranayam, when we think of the technique associated with the breath in Swara Yoga, it is the association of breath in relation to the activities or phases or positions of sun, moon, planet, season, and the time of day with physical and mental conditions of individual and taking the appropriate action according to the subtle relations. For example, knowing the moon phases and checking the flow of your nostril before you get out of the bed and letting the corresponding foot be touched to your floor and making the first step is a simple practice that ensures success in everything that happens for the day. The first foot to touch the ground will surely prevailing the successful flow of energy from the cosmos. There is a saying that man is born alone and dies alone, but that is incorrect. Man is born with the breath, and with this subtle pran, which is essence to the breath, he departs. Man is the man's soul companion. Breath is the man's soul companion. Therefore, the Upanishads refer to Swar as Atma Swarup or Brahm Swarup, thus interfering the man in the Brahman or the universal conscious. If you realize that the truth of reality, breath, you can realize the Atma or soul. See, consciously, subconsciously, everybody of us is breathing. This is the reason we are here and we are alive. So, for a very clear thought process, it is always said, okay, utilize your breath. So, initially days, just give an example of the first foot only itself. So, our Maharishis and everybody has taught us to keep the active breath foot downstairs. Now, suppose you are you got up in the Ida Swar or the left Swar or the lunar Swar, and you have to keep down the left feet as well. And so this is the main process. So you have to check the breath in the morning itself like this, and then you can take up your thought process and you can start up your day with that. According to the scripture of Swara Yoga, Shiv Swarodaya and Gyan Swarodaya, the lifespan of the man is measured not in the years, but in the number of breaths. At the rate of 15 breaths per minute, a human life is comprised of a total 946,080,000 breaths, a full of 120 years. See, and within a Vinshotri Dasha also, the maximum Dasha which have been given to us is 120 years in totality. To maintain the normal breathing rate, the 15 breaths per minute does not call for the special efforts or training. Slowing down the breathing rate, however, requires control over the breathing process and diligent practice of pranayam. So, I'm sure everybody out here knows the basic of astrology and thought process. Our astrology is very well connected with our Yoga Shastra, and that is also very well connected with our Vastu Shastra. That is again connected with our Sangeet Shastra also. These all limbs are duly connected with each other and we take it forward. So Swara Yoga says a very clear thing, pranayam. So there is a Nadi Shodhan technique which we always refer to. Okay? We always say the people, I'm sure many you must be knowing somebody in your family who has an acute problem of sinusitis. Sinus, we know it measurably. So that is when that is the main process when you need a Nadi Shodhan in your body, and that you can activate your Ira or Pingla, you can understand the language of your breathing techniques and take it further. The alternating breath. If we ever take time and observe the breath and the manner in which the air flows in and out of the nostril, we will notice that most of the time respiration takes place through one nostril only. It appears that respiration occurs through both nostrils simultaneously, but that is not so. When you observe the breath, you will find that one nostril usually remains open for a certain duration of time and breath comes and goes through that side only. Later, this nostril closes and alternate nostril opens. So as I just spoke, approximately for an hour, you understand one nostril is active. Therefore, next 2 minutes are both of the nostril works and then it changes. What does that mean? Psychologically, it is particular effect of the nervous system producing a certain type of stimulus. Furthermore, it has a specific influence on the brain which requires a systematic regulation. Swara Yoga is a science which reveals the previous unknown processes. Swara Yoga explains the flow of swar changes at regular intervals. It is not at all erratic. Every hour 20 minutes, the active nostril changes. This rhythm regulates all the psychological and physiological processes. If the swar is irregular, it is clear indication that something is not functioning properly in our body. The three swars, yogic text mentions about 10 important nadis that carry both kind of energies. Three of the 10 vital importance, the three are Ida, Pingla, and Sushumna. As I just spoke, the left Ida, the right Pingla, and both of their activa Sushumna are connected with the limbic system. Ida and Pingla are located on the left and the right side of the spine, respectively. But when they are activated through yogic breathing, pranayam, the movement of activated spiritual energy or kundalini, they crisscross their movement and work on the first 5 chakras. While the Sushumna terminates in the crown chakra or Sahastra, the Ida and Pingla nadis terminate in the left and the right nostril, respectively. The passage of Sushumna opens only with the awakening of Kundalini, which dormant resides in the Muladhara or root chakra. Once activated, this Kundalini energy travels up to the body through very fine channel called as Brahmanadi, located with the Sushumna. The Ida originates at the base of the spine Muladhara and works as a left channel. It flows on the left of the spinal column and terminates in the left nostril by branching into fine capillaries. This nadi becomes active when breathing carried out by the left nostril. Since Ida is considered to be nourishing and purifying, its energy is called feminine or maternal. The left nostril is connected with the right cerebral hemisphere, making it emotional and magnetic in nature. Because of its dominance during the ascendant of cycle of the moon, it is called lunar. The breathing flowing through the left nostril is Ida or the moon breath. When the left nostril flows, it indicates the mental energy, chit predominant, and the pranic energy is weak. So any activity which is from inside itself, I am in the thought process, I have to write something, I have to study, a very soft things and everything is related to the Ida, and whichever is the hyper things, we have to work with our hands. We have to go for a meeting and do the counseling itself. There are negotiations happening in the meetings. Those things are dedicatedly working in the Pingala part. And Sushumna is very clearly for the daily activities. Sushumna is not considered good. But for your spiritual life, in your meditation, Sushumna is the best nadi in which you should work. The Pingala. Nadi originates at the base of the spine and acts as the right channel. It is situated on the right side of the spinal column and terminates in the right nostril. Also, by branching into fine capillaries. During the operation of right nostril, this nadi becomes active. It is connected with solar current and its energy is considered to be masculine. The right nostril is connected with the left cerebral hemisphere, making it verbal and rational in nature. Because it is dominant due to the descending cycle of the moon, it is called solar. The breathing flowing through the right nostril is called Pingala or sun breath. While the right nostril flows, the pranic forces are stronger and the mental aspects are weak. I just told you, anything which is soft or related to mental works is by the Ida, and which requires a harshness or regular things, it is denoted by the Pingala. The Sushumna. This nadi originates at the base of spine and is situated between Ida and Pingala, and also known as the center canal or the royal way. Its energy flow through the interior of the spinal column. It pierces the palate at the base of the skull and terminates at the top of the skull. When air flows in both nostrils equally, the Sushumna nadi becomes active. It is fiery in nature. This nadi usually works at the dawn or dusk automatically, and also for short intervals when the transition from one nostril to the other nostril takes place. All human beings breathe through both nostrils just before death when Sushumna becomes active. Thus, we see the nostrils are named after the relationship with the solar and lunar currents, which are respectively heating and cooling in nature. Through the periodic alteration of the nostril, the chemical balance is maintained within the organism. Through the knowledge of Swar, one can become free from all kinds of negative influence of one's destiny and can achieve heightened awareness. The Swar Yoga practices related to breath were used to understand the governing forces of life, to understand the nature of the universe and the effects of elements on the body and mind by observing different paths of breath. Further, it was used to go beyond the limitations of the mind. Swar Yoga is a tantric science coming from Agam Shastra, from Shaiva Tantra, where the Lord Shiva is the guru and Shakti Devi Parvati is the disciple. She asks questions about the nature and governing forces of the universe. Lord Shiva gives the precious knowledge of the Swar Yoga to Shakti. Other tantric traditions also existed, such as Surya Tantra, Ganpati Tantra, Vaishnava Tantra. Today, only two tantric tantra techniques are most commonly, that is Shaiva and Shakti. So this was just a very basic introduction about Swar Yoga. We in Saptarishis Astrology very soon are coming up with the course of Swara Yoga, and in totality, you can connect with Vinayak ji for the same of the course of Swara Yoga. Thank you, Vinayak ji.
Thank you, Akshit for this wonderful lecture. And like Durgesh is raising hand,
Yes, Durgesh ji.
I think she wants to ask.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for this lecture. It was very interesting. So I have a few questions. One, that you said the Sushumna Nadi is active more during dawn and dusk. Now, supposing during the day one is doing pranayam, obviously one swar is going to be more active than the other. Then how do we, say that the effect is absorbed, completely in the body?
So what happens is, I'll tell you. I'll just try to answer it. So Sushumna is one nadi. Now, in our spiritual life, Sushumna for you and me is very good. We are sitting out here, हमारा ध्यान लग जाए. So it is one of the most best things. We can do meditation a lot. Towards whenever you are meditating or you are in the Pingala Nadi, your aggression towards your meditation is too high. You feel suffocated or you feel a bit angry. You now see, as if now these things happen, but we are not able to connect with these things. From now, you just know these things, try to focus on them. You will be able to get your answers on the same. Now, coming back to Sushumna, you said in the morning and the evening that is active. Yes, whenever Sushumna Nadi is active, our mind is at bit of stillness. कितनी बारी होता है ना मैम कि भी हम लोग शांत हो जाते हैं यार अच्छा क्या कर रहे थे. So that at that time observe your breath. You would be at the Sushumna Nadi itself. Ji Durgesh ji. Ma'am, you got the point?
Hello.
Yes, thank you, sir. I got it. I got it.
Thank you, madam.
Hello.
Namaskar, sir. Ji.
Hello, can I ask?
Ji, sir.
Okay, not asking, but I would like to add, because as a being yoga teacher since 20 years,
Lovely.
we used to give a medical advice by for yoga. If you have a fever in your body,
Yes.
left nostril has to be activated by placing a right hand very hard. So left nadi will activate it,
Yes.
or sleep on the right side.
Yes.
That is why we, after eating, we call warm kukshi. Warm kukshi is a what? Your right nostril will be activated while you are sleeping in the left side of your body.
Exactly, sir.
That is called warm kukshi.
Yes, sir.
And if you have fever, then sleep in the left side, right nostril will open up. Sorry.
No, sir, you are. I'll correct you, sir. I'll correct you, sir. If you are.
Yeah, I understood.
No,
Understood. You should sleep on the right side, so left nostril will open up, right?
Yes, sir.
Am I right?
Certainly.
Yeah, okay. Okay, and also I have not applied in astrology, but one of the great men regarding this from Gujarat I have a discussion. He was predicting very precise thing. He was telling that don't travel today, you will feel in trouble. And today he himself, when somebody asked the question to him, he will see his nostril and then he will give the answer. If he doesn't feel, then he will not answer.
Yes, sir.
So Swayantra has many advantages, not only in astrology, but in medical as well as in daily routine also.
Yes, sir.
When you get angry, you can place your right hand so that left nostril get open and you get cool.
Yes, sir.
And every 90 seconds, nostril change, and during that period, 4 seconds is a Sushumna Nadi runs, and then it switches over. That 4 seconds, if you take any pratigna or say inclination, I wanted to this thing, then that things can be fulfilled. That is what I want to hear, which I know.
Sure.
So I hope that you will enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yes, Srinivasaluji, please unmute and you can ask your question, sir. Any other questions? Yeah, Dipesh, very well said. Just Gautam sir just added up. So yes, this is a technique, what we say. So now I'll just give you an example. Winters are at the corner itself. So now if somebody is cold, we feel cold. So try to activate your pingala at that times or in a day or two. How to activate it is very clear. One, just Gautam sir just told, lie on your other shoulder. Suppose I have to activate my pingala. So if I lie on my left shoulder, मैं ऐसे लेट जाऊं left shoulder पे हुए, तो my pingala will get activated and the cold may get suppressed and it will add as a good thing. Second, there we also use Yog Dand. I'm sorry, please unmute me. Okay. Yes, Srinivasji. I'll just complete and then Srinivasji, I'll just unmute you. So you also use Yog Dand for the same. The third aspect which is said is that you can use cotton. So now I want to activate my pingala. For an example, I want to activate my Ida. I have to activate my Ida. So in my pingala, I'll put up the cotton nostril for 4-5 minutes. So you will surely see my Ida would be getting activated. The person's Ida would be getting activated immediately. So I have to search you, sir. 1 second. Srinivasaluji, please. I'm not able to. You are here. 1 second, sir. Neeraj bhai, can you please unmute him because मेरे पास से वो option नहीं आ रहा.
No, we have given him to unmute.
जी. Srinivasji, you are unmuted. Kindly please ask your question.
Click on mic button. You can unmute yourself. We have given you permission. Everybody can unmute.
Thank you, Gayatri ji.
Srinivasaluji, you can unmute. We have given permission.
It is not working. So can you please type down, if it's not working, can you please type down your question?
Yeah.
Till then, anybody else who has a question can please raise their hand.
Yes, Ranjana Verma ji want to ask question. You can unmute, Ranjana ji.
Yeah, Ranjana, please, you can. Madam, you are at mute, I think so. I'm not able to hear you. No. I'm not able to hear you, ma'am.
I think problem with mic. She is unmute already.
Yeah, she's unmuted. I just saw that. Madam, आपका शायद mic नहीं चल रहा, वो एक बारी निकालिएगा, please. How does Pingla you? Yeah, madam, please.
Sir, I have a question. Like as you said, कि कहते अगर किसी को fever है, तो like if we are going to activate, like the Ida side, so it will help the person to cure.
Ji.
So in any case, like if a person is suffering from a long time typhoid, will it work for that also?
See, madam, typhoid is one thing. Yes, it can, but I will surely suggest you to go for some yogic practices also for the same. Yes, this is one technique for basic, fever. Now, I understand the science behind the fever. Fever mein kya hota hai? Hamara temperature, the temperature of the body goes up. Our normal temperature is 98, right? At 99, 100 jahan chala gaya, to apan logo ko thoda sa bukhar chadta hai. We get into the fever part, right? So to cool down that scenario, we activate our Ida. And that it cools down. It is a hot temperature. Mid mein chal raha tha, theek hai. जहाँ थोड़ा सा बैलेंस अप डाउन हुआ तो वो प्रॉब्लम क्रिएट करता है. तो दैट इज द रीजन वी एक्टिवेट ईरा एंड द बुखार गोस अ बिट डाउन. For your side, typhoid, yes, it is one of the solutions, but go for the yogic practitioners. I would recommend for Ayurvedic or allopathic, whatever you are going with, you have to consult that also, because that is a prolonged, as you're saying, it is a prolonged one. Somebody is facing that, right?
Actually, somebody is suffering from 1 year and the temperature is constantly, 98, 99, 99, 100. It's like moving like this.
This is for sure would help, but don't go for a very long thing for a very simple reason. Why? Because body needs a temperature of the minimum side. Heat, cold, both of them are there. If you compress in totality the cold one ना, तो और ज़्यादा बीमारियां पैदा हो सकती हैं. It is also to balance. So अब आज भगवान ना करे किसी को बुखार चढ़ता है and cold are coming out there. Let it be any city North India, the temperature is very high, मतलब बड़ा गलत temperature जाता है. तो उस चक्कर में थोड़ा सा help out हो सकता है. Right?
So in the course, like if we join, we can find solutions like for different kind of problems.
I mean, our course will surely discuss about each and every aspect of that. When we talk about our aspect, we will be discussing about कि हम लोगों को अगर नाड़ी change, we have to change our नाड़ी from Ida to Pingala. What are the processes out of it? What are the things which are done in the Ida? What are the things which are done in the Pingala? What are the days which should be practiced for the Ida part, Pingala part? What are the months? The Panchang की बात करें, it's a very long scenario. It is a very basic thought process between Devi Parvati and Lord Shiva. And उसी के अंदर सारे के सारे thought processes उन्होंने बताए गए थे.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, how this Pingala used in astrology in questions? Sir, Srinivasuji, what happens is, I just told you, where are the tattvas also, the elements are also very active in our body. When we give the answers for the astrology or vastu or whatsoever the questions somebody comes up with. So there is a permanent in combinations. So suppose somebody today, the day is not of the Pingala, but we are running under the Pingala. So the answer would be practically no. So I just told you. So now, Purnima Tithi as well as Amavasya, the first 3 days of the Shukla Paksha belongs to the Ida. The other 3 days belongs to the Pingala. Then Ida, 3 days. So suppose you are, today we are checking the Shukla Paksha itself. Today is Dwadashi. So this Dwadashi belongs to the Pingala side. And supposedly there are days also which are connected with Ida and Pingala. So there's a permutation combinations. Then the third permutation combination comes up with the element. If we connect all of them and it is just 10 seconds of the scenario, okay, how to connect that. It's not that major calculations we have to do and everything. It's just a 10-second scenario. We can calculate it for the formulas and then we can give the answer yes or no whatsoever is happening. So I remember just for an example I'm giving you up. So I do a job a lot of times. So people who have met me know I do the clicker. There's a clicker in my hand always. So maximum times I be in the Sushumna and thing. So I remember I was at the Vastu consultancy. It was 4 or 5 years back in Mayapuri, in Delhi itself. So when I want to go for a consultancy or something, I keep it at the point because I have to activate it. The nature has to activate it, the Ida or the Pingala part, I remember. So at that time I was running as a Sushumna. That was a very major problem for me. So there are some directions which are connected with our Ida and Pingala and Sushumna as well. So I knew the answer what the answer would had been out there because my Sushumna had already given me the answer. So at that time, that was a very unusual Vastu defect which came out there and it was present, which my breath already told me. So these are some secrets which you can decode just by your breath. This is a very small example. So astrology also, if you understand the tattvas and if you understand your planets running in your Ida and Pingala, you can decode and you can answer those questions immediately to your client. Hope Srinivasuji, I was able to resolve your problem, sir. Ji Durgesh ma'am.
So one last question, please. So like you said that when we get up in the morning, we check which swar is running and put that foot down. Yeah, so how do we know that for how long will that swar continue and when will it change?
So now ma'am, what happens is morning approximately, I just take a very brief from 6 to 7, 8. Every person in daily life gets active. But कोई लोग पहले थोड़ा उठ जाते हैं, कोई थोड़ा लेट उठते हैं. So I'm just taking up a very normal thing. So now 6:30, suppose Durgesh ji, you get up every day. All right. So at that time, it would be a Ida or Pingala, whatsoever your nadi is active at that time. So अब एक नाड़ी जब चल रही है तो आपने चेक कर लिया. Suppose you have checked your, आपने से चेक कर लिया आपकी ईड़ा चल रही है, पिंगला चल रही है. आपने कितनी देर में अपने पैर नीचे करना है? 2 minutes, a minute max to max. You will people do that. योग अपने उसमें हम लोग अपने देखते हैं, पाम देखते हैं, वो करते हैं, जो भी आप करते हैं अपने जो डेली एक्टिविटी है, and then you keep your feet down, right? It just takes maximum 1 or 2 minutes. Any nadi changing from Ida to Pingala or Pingala to Ida is approximately from 1 hour to 1 hour 20 minutes for a normal human being who is a healthy and 99% people are healthy. क्योंकि होता कि अगर किसी के नाड़ी शोधन, somebody has a sinus problem, something of that sort, that is another exception. But in totality, maximum people change their nadi from 1 hour or 1 hour 20 minutes in totality. All right. उसके अंदर भी मैम there are changes out there, I'll tell you. So now suppose जैसे मैंने I just श्रीनिवास जी को सर मैं बता रहा था, so there are days for every nadi. For an example, so Sunday, today is Sunday. Sunday is denoted for Pingla. So if you are getting up at Ida, only, so it is always said, and in the Yogic Shastra also mentioned, that today just be aware there would be some problems, या लड़ाई नहीं होने वाला, मतलब ये नहीं होने वाला कि you will be going out and you will be fighting. So there can be some misunderstandings, or your work won't be a bit successful as it had to be. It is not that it would be you would be able to fight, or there were some problems, nothing of that sort. But yes, as you are planning your day may not get that successful. So that immediately as you are getting up, you can plan up your day. See, initially as a Swara yogi, I was also out there. Okay, I used to check everything and go on with that. But by nature, we take it as a part that God has planned something like that for us, and we take it and we plan a day itself again. Suppose today, Pingla, I woke up at Ida, right? So I know today I'll surely avoid to take some very major actions in my life. So suppose I have a meeting, I have to take a very strong decision. So I'll avoid today. I'll find up another good day within a day or 2 or 3 days max to max, and I'll plan something of that sort. Right? It is all about your planning. See, Swara Yoga is something with inner self. So आपको help करेगा कि आप एक चीज how to take a day forward, how to plan your life in a very blessed way. See, we have been blessed with our breath. I have just told you that. But how to plan it, how to get your benefits out of it, that is majorly into Swara Yoga. Up now, somebody supposed to learn Swara Yoga and ask the question, is my maid will be coming at time or not? So this is not for that. This is not for that. This is for your important life events in which you can plan your day, which you can spiritually go ahead. Our Guru always tells us that Swara is the first step जिससे हम आगे बढ़ सकते हैं life में. For your spiritual gainings, Mahadev has written out there for an astrologer, to everybody out there, for an astrologer, it is a very important thing to know the knowledge of Swara. And I remember, I just take 2-3 minutes. I'm so sorry. अगर मैं किसी को वो कर रहा हूं तो किसी का टाइम थोड़ा खराब ना करूं मैं. So it was always said that people who are from the field of our occult, let it be jyotish, vastu, numero, Swara is one thing which would be a parallel thing to you. A very small shloka is written to people who understand divine. It is a very normal thing for them. To atheists, it is a magic कि यार आप खाली एक स्वर के साथ, just from a breath, you can answer those things. So it is one very beautiful thing. I remember I was a very impatient kind of a guy till the time I had to learn astrology. I had to learn everything 4-5 years back. ये भी सीखना है. I know everybody out there gets that anxiety level. I know. But after learning Swara, I got every answer of my own. I got every answer of my own, how things have to be done, how things have to be placed, and how things can be done in future itself. Right? Any other questions, please?
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome, ma'am. You're welcome. Any other questions, please?
Sir, please suggest a book for this Swara Shastra.
Okay. Now, Shiv Swarodhya itself is a very good book, and there is another book of Bihar School of Yoga I just mentioned out there. So, order that. Just like Shiv Swarodhya, you will be getting a lot of books. Apparently, there is not much literature about these. There are just 2 or 3 books maximum. Harish Johari's book is very good, but it is a bit of what you call is medical terms and everything for a very layman. You may not able to understand. But Bihar School of Yoga, Shiv Swarodhya is a good book. So you can go for that itself.
Okay, thanks, sir.
You're welcome, madam. Hope you enjoyed the lecture.
Yes, sir, very much.
Thank you. Any other questions? नीरज जी, I think so there are no more questions. और के questions नहीं है. तो विनायक जी, आप एक बारी please.
Thank you so much, Akshit.
Thank you, sir. अच्छा, आप you were here only. I didn't see you.
Thank you. नीरज रिकॉर्डिंग स्टॉप करके ऑन कर दो. Dinesh, are you there?
Yes, sir, I'm here.